Thank you, Mary. Good afternoon, evening, Congress. Len McCluskey, Unite, Moving Composite 5. Brexit represents the key challenge for our movement and working people today. It's not a challenge that we went looking for. My union, the TUC, and most affiliates believed that on balance, our interests were best served by remaining part of the European Union. Mind you, we were never starry-eyed about Europe. We knew that too often the EU come down on the side of neoliberalism, of austerity economics, and of putting big business interests first. But we backed the line of the Labour Party: remain and reform. The British people decided differently, and as Democrats conference, we must accept that fact, and we must also face the fact that many of our own members voted to leave. Not because they hate Europe or Europeans, but because they hate what the economic system and the international elite has done to their jobs, their communities, their way of life, and the prospects for their children. We must recognise those concerns, just as Labour did so successfully during the general election campaign. Our position on Brexit today is informed by the same concerns that we expressed during the referendum campaign: the protection of jobs and the preservation of workers' rights emanating from the EU. All of that is being put at risk by the Tories. Here we are 6 months into the negotiations with only a year left to secure a deal, and nothing has yet been agreed, even within the government itself, never mind with the EU. A divided, reckless government without plan or purpose beyond its own survival is driving Britain and many of our key industries straight towards the precipice, placing tens of thousands of jobs in jeopardy. And here's the real problem, colleagues. Much of the Tory party just doesn't care. It's all collateral damage as far as they're concerned on the highway to their low-wage, low-tax utopia. A second Singapore floating off Europe, undercutting wages and social protections. A deregulated race to the bottom, slashing rights at work and disregarding product standards and other safeguards. And a Prime Minister incapable of formulating any agenda or imposing any order on her squabbling team. Conference, more than ever, it's clear that Britain cannot afford a Tory Brexit. Only unremitting pressure from the Labour movement is going to avert this catastrophe. That's why my union supports the position taken by Labour on the transition period, avoiding crashing out of the EU without a plan by remaining within the single market for a short additional period. We also support Labour in opposing the Tories' EU withdrawal bill, which will give ministers powers to scrap workers' rights as and when the fancy takes them. Theresa May says that's not her intention. But calling an early general election wasn't her intention either, until it suited. She regrets that decision now, and let's make it clear, if she uses Brexit as a pretext to attack workers' rights, she will live to regret that too. Beyond a transition period, however, we must honour the referendum result by returning Britain the full powers to shape our future. Sisters and brothers, our best hope for workers' rights and a prosperous, balanced economy is not a hard Brexit or a soft Brexit, nor a second referendum. It's a Labour government under the leadership of Jeremy Corbyn, which implements the manifesto, which got so much support just 3 months ago and speaks so clearly to our members' concerns and aspirations. That's the best guarantee of not just the rights we have, but the rights we need. That's the best guarantee of not just jobs, but decent, well-paid jobs throughout the country. It's also the best guarantee of a tolerant society with equality for all. So, conference, let our whole movement unite around our basic principles and fight for the Labour Brexit which puts working people first. For the many, not the few. I move.